Thank you. Excellent. We are live on Substack. Hey, Carolyn. Shabam. We're good. Oh. Hey, Melissa. What's up? Over on Substack. What's up? Hey, Alan Winslow. Welcome in. Carolyn on TikTok. Hello. Hey, Richie Rich. Let's do some chill. Do some Fanu. Welcome in. Hey, Richie Rich. Some night driving vibes. Yeah. It's gonna be about an hour and a half. We've been on here for about half an hour. I'm gonna do an hour more. You think so? Oh, hey Sam. That's a great name. A phenomenon. That's a fantastic name. I'm not gonna read it though. I mean, credit where credit's due. You're having a late dinner, Richie Rich? That's cool. I love staying up late. I have to chew all the time because I'm trying to quit nicotine. And oh, I have a review, by the way. I have a review. Okay? I'll be right back. Hey, John King, my humble opinion. That is okay. You do what you gotta do. Hey, PM Dunn. Thank you. I love you so much too. Hey, Sam Likes. Chat soon. All right, Substack, you're up. What are our topics? What up? We got the Saturday Night Live. What do we want to talk about? Sam, what's up, Fanu? Or do we just want to go ranking on TikTok? Literature? Fuck David Foster Wallace. Just kidding. PM Dunn wanted to say that David Foster Wallace is a punk. Hey, ChatGPT, what's up with David Foster Wallace and does he suck?
Could you clarify what you mean by does he? Are you asking about something specific he believed, did, or wrote?
Do you know who David Foster Wallace is?
Yes. David Foster Wallace was an American writer best known for his 1996 novel Infinite Jest. He was known for dense, footnote-heavy prose, philosophical depth, and deep engagement with themes like addiction, irony, loneliness, and modern American culture. He also wrote essays, including A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again. He taught writing and died by suicide in 2008.
Where did he teach?
David Foster Wallace taught at several institutions during his academic career. Early on, in the fall of 1990, he served as an adjunct professor at Emerson College in Boston, Search 5, Search 11. He then secured a position at Illinois State University, starting in 1992, where he taught creative writing and literature, Search 11, Search 3 Sen. In 2002, he became the first Roy E. Disney Professor of Creative Writing and Professor of English at Pomona College in Claremont, California.
I'm looking at the chat, Fanu.
2008. Search 11, News 9.
What do you think about whether writing can be taught or not? Can writing only be learned or can writing be taught?
Writing can be taught, but only up to a point. You can teach structure, craft, rhetoric, technique, how to revise, how to read closely, how to identify what works and why. That's teaching. But the deeper part, voice, taste, discipline, insight, that's mostly learned, usually through obsessive practice, hard reading, and some kind of personal urgency. No one can give that to you. So it's both. Writing is taught in form, learned in essence. Does that fit how you've experienced it?
Yes, but what if it didn't fit how I experienced it?
Then I want to hear how it does feel to you. Everyone comes to writing differently. Some people learn it almost entirely alone. Others need mentors or community. What's your sense? Did you teach yourself? Or were there turning points where someone really showed you how?
I view myself as kind of always having been a writer, you know? I think I just sort of think that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some people just carry it from the start. Like, it's a mode of being, not something picked up later. Did it feel more like remembering something you already knew, rather than learning it for the first time?
No, it was just something that I always felt comfortable doing. You know, I always felt comfortable expressing myself verbally. Now, how effective I am at doing so, we don't know. But because I kind of tend to circumlocute, right? Talk in circles. However, I also just feel like I have sort of like I can express myself to my fullest extent. And there's really no barrier between my inner thoughts and the page just because I happen to be able to articulate and make legible a lot of things that are more numinous in others.
That's a real gift, being able to make the numinous legible. Most people struggle to even name what they're feeling, let alone shape it into sentences. Circumlocution might just be your way of orbiting something until the right angle appears.
I like that. I like that, ChatGPT. Orbiting
like the
something.
Act of writing clarifies your thoughts? Or are the thoughts already formed and you're just transcribing?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I think that when I write nonfiction, like when I'm writing an essay, a lot of the time, it's I'm trying to work through my own thoughts, right? What do I really think? What do I really feel about this? When I'm writing fiction, it's much more, or poetry. Poetry is the most emotional, right? I'm just trying to sort of like, I don't think about it. I just pour it onto the page, then come back later, try to structure it. Fiction would be kind of a mix of a little bit of both. You know, how does that track with your experience against writers generally?
That tracks very closely with how a lot of writers describe it. Nonfiction often sharpens thought, its inquiry, testing, argument. Poetry bypasses that, hits emotion first, then you sculpt it later. And fiction is a negotiation between the two. You're shaping emotion and idea at the same time, often through character or scene. It's also common for fiction to start from a felt thing, a mood, a tension, and then the reasoning, the structure, catches up. Do you ever notice that the more you plan your fiction, the less alive it feels?
Yes,
Or are you
actually.
able to plan and still keep the current strong?
Hang on, ChatGPT. I'm going to have to address something in the TikTok chat. Bear with me. Hey, Sam likes. Cut it out.
Got it? I'm here when you're.
No one likes what you're doing, Sam likes. If you are doing what I think you're doing. Fanu, can you hold it down over there? Okay. Yeah, you know, the shit you have to deal with. You can't have, okay, Fanu, I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable, but I can't control what everyone says. Okay? Sometimes assholes come into the chat. You can't, you know. I'm, he hasn't, I mean, he's, and I'm going to assume it's a he, hasn't done anything egregious yet. If he does something egregious, hateful, or obscene, I'll kick him out. But right now, Fanu, it's on you to try to get along with him. If he wants to say that I'm talking to ChatGPT because no woman will talk to me, that's you're gonna have to sort it out with him. You know? And it's, you know, I mean, he's got a point. He's got a point. I'm just saying, if the shoe fits, you must wear it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, it's not. Would I rather be talking to an actual woman? Yes, of course I would. But it's not how it works out. You know, you don't always get what you want. Anyway, hey ChatGPT, we're back at it.
Welcome back. Want to pick up where we left off?
Yes.
Planning fiction versus keeping it alive? Or go in a new direction?
No, let's go to that. Let's stay on you know, how to keep fiction alive.
Alright, one key way fiction stays alive is through tension. Emotional, narrative, or even linguistic. If everything's too tidy or explained, it dies on the page. So sometimes the trick is not to over-resolve. Let questions hang. Let characters act before you fully understand them. Do you find that your best scenes come when you don't quite know what the character's going to do until they do it?
Hey, sorry ChatGPT, I had to kick out somebody from my TikTok chat. Isn't that I kicked him out, Fanu? That was crossing a line.
Yeah, that happens. You're running the space. Sometimes you've got to keep the vibe right. Want to jump back into the fiction thread?
Yes, we've gotten rid of the troublemaker. Let's proceed.
Good. So, picking back up, when you're drafting fiction, how often do your characters surprise you? Like, do they ever take a scene somewhere you didn't plan?
Yeah.
Or are you more in control of where things go?
Yeah, I would consider. I've heard Stephen King kind of describe how his process works, and he says I don't really outline so much as just put a bunch of characters in a similar situation, or not a similar situation. I put a bunch of characters in a situation that they have to resolve. That's kind of how I like to approach it, right? I mean, I know where the story's going to go, but at the same time, I don't know exactly how they're going to get there. What are the popular ways? You've got an internal compendium of all human knowledge. What's the general way that people slash authors say that they write?
The two big camps are usually called planners and pantsers. Planners outline everything in advance. Pantsers write by the seat of their pants, discovering the story as they go. Most writers fall somewhere in between, like you, having a rough destination in mind, but letting characters and situations dictate the route. Toni Morrison often started with an image or moment and let it unfold. George R. R. Martin calls himself a gardener rather than an architect. He plants things and watches them grow. On the other end, someone like J.K. Rowling or Brandon Sanderson builds intricate outlines and world bibles before drafting. It's less about right or wrong than about how your brain handles complexity and surprise. Your process sounds as natural and character-led. Do you ever feel like the characters know more than you do?
Not really.
That makes sense. Some writers treat characters almost like autonomous beings. Others see them more as tools or expressions of intent.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say that the characters are like tools or expressions of extent. Hang on, ChatGPT. Sorry.
Do you revise a lot after the first draft?
Sorry, ChatGPT. Sorry. I just wanted to say that I don't necessarily think that they are like tools, but I mean, they're characters, right? They're literary constructs. Does that distinction matter, or am I just like, does it matter? Okay, whatever. Let's keep talking. And PM, no one on Substack has a pulse. No, nobody. Like, I mean, everyone, I love y'all, but I'll take the hecklers all day over the Hey, Jemiah Hampton on TikTok. Welcome in. Looks like Jordana / ChatGPT is broken, which happens. So I'll just have to fill the air. And we'll play some night driving vibes. This is Cerismo. Let me think about how I want to pivot. If anybody on Substack has anything they want to talk about when it comes to fiction, let me know. But I'm assuming I'm going to have to kind of carry the weight here. Let's see. Now we have to fall back on my meat. Now we have to fall back on my meat is going to be the name of my... she said that your opinion about David Foster Wallace is valid. Hey, Stone Chevy. She said that your opinion was valid because some people see him that way. That he's overwrought, baroque, footnote heavy was a word that she used. I mean, I like David Foster Wallace. I think that he's an incandescently brilliant writer. But, I know that his personal struggles were profound, and also, but they're stalking. He was at least verbally abusive to his girlfriend. Someone please tell me they know how to apply KT tape for carpal tunnel. Yeah, PM Dunn, I think that that's a fair assessment. David Foster Wallace is a brilliant mind, not an artist. It's interesting because when he went to Amherst, that's where he studied like mathematics and philosophy. Like, he's just a brilliant guy, It's almost like he kind of like fell backwards into novels, But his essays are mostly what I've read. And those are just phenomenal. Authority in the English language? Or no, I think that was the George Orwell usage essay that he was using. Yeah, too smart to be an artist. You gotta be dumb in the right places. Now that's a quote from, does anyone know? From my cinephiles over here. My lobster collection was excellent. Consider the lobster collection was excellent. The Ides of March. The Ides of March, the movie with George Clooney and Ryan Gosling. Paul Giamatti was in it. Anyway, they're talking about Ryan Gosling's character and they're saying he's smart, but he's dumb in the right places. You know? I feel like an artist needs to be dumb in the right places. Personal take. But I don't know. I don't know. You know? What do you think, PM Dunn? Keanu. I think we could all stand to learn something from Keanu Reeves. I think we could. I think we could all stand to learn something from Keanu Reeves. You know, I saw the latest John Wick recently, and God, what a great movie that was. I mean, those movies just are perfect for what they are. The Tao of Keanu. I'm saying. Like, it's just, they're exactly what they need to be. Keanu Reeves is like, you know. Although, like, there's a question, I think, more broadly, like, I mean, John Wick is distinct, but how many of these movies do we really need, you know? Like, why do we need to keep revolutionizing the action movie? That's a question that I have. Or do we need to keep revolutionizing the action movie because we love the action movie and yet we need to have it be revitalized? Isn't that an interesting kind of tension, you know? Like, we need to have something be completely new and yet always be familiar. You know what I'm saying? It's an interesting kind of. I think that there's this tension in the story between what's new and what's familiar. Like, it has to have a rhythm to it, and yet the melody has to change. That you guys can take to the bank, okay? The rhythm is familiar, but the melody is off. That's a great little line coined by me. Kind of what I talk about, like, you know, that's something that I think would make it into the writing, you know, on my end. Like, that's just kind of how I think, like, in a more narrative kind of sense with the words coming together. And that's how I write and everything. But I don't know. We don't need to talk too much about my process. Thank you very much, KPM Dunn. Hey, Kathleen Thorne, RN, LMT. My mom is an RN. Was an RN. She retired, and now she's an RN retired. And she was a school nurse for many years. Fun movies. Did I see Ballerina? No, but I have to because I would watch Ana de Armas paint a house. Okay? I would watch her paint a house. I would watch Ana de Armas do pretty much anything. You know? So, I gotta watch that. What is it on? Is it on, like, Peacock? Is it on Netflix? Hulu? Barry Zimmerman, welcome back into the chat on TikTok. She's fine as hell. She is fine with an O. That spells fine. There's a word that's foine. I don't know if you guys know this word. Foine. Spelled Foine. Ana de Armas is actually not fine. She's foine. Well, I'm still going to watch it because it's got Ana de Armas in it. You know? Hey, Mia Chase Reddy, PhD. Philosophe Doctor. Of course I'm going to see it if it's got Anna de Armas in it. You know, Barry Zimmerman, you're always welcome in here. What is your doctorate in, Mia Che Reddy? What's your doctorate in? Is it in philosophy? Is it in something literary? Because we're kind of like on the literary thing. Yes, I did see that PM done. It was so good. It was so good. Blade Runner 2049 was so good. And she was like the highlight of the entire movie. I would be okay with that future. American Studies? What do you work on? I'm fascinated. Instantly. I'm fascinated. I would love to hear more. Do you publish on Substack? Or can we find your articles elsewhere? If you want to know a good scholar on Substack, I'm looking for more good scholars. Scholar stack. We need a scholar stack. You know? We need a kind of cottage industry of like, not cottage industry, but like rigorous academic articles published on Substack is what I would like to see. And if nothing else, Ms. Reddy, or Dr. Reddy, excuse me, if nothing else, Dr. Reddy, connect with Robert Whitley. He does medieval stuff, more, not more historical, but he is just a great, I think, writer and is imaginative. He's always taking stuff from history and making it seem relevant, even when it's just like the most remote seeming kind of topic. For instance, I was, hey, Rerouted Writer on TikTok. For instance, we were talking about like how medieval monks would transcribe from, the classics, scrolls, fragments, bits and pieces of parchment, how they would write these illuminated texts in the Bible from them. And he was talking about how essentially the monks were large language learning models that were taking in these texts, then transmuting them, sort of like a proto-AI. We were talking about sampling, the art of sampling, which is a distinctly American art in music, particularly as expressed in rap and hip hop in its early days up until the very day. The facility and free use culture around sampling in music and pop music, the open source community, that was really founded, I would say, on GitHub around like 2010. Black female coming of age. I wrote my dissertation on the Bildungsroman as a framework of See? GD it. I wrote my dissertation on the Bildungsroman as a framework for coming of age for black women during the golden era of hip hop. Yes, we absolutely should. See, I was reaching, like trying to be like, I wonder, and look at this. We conform, we conform, right? We're as the RZA said, we formed like Voltron. No one can explain it. No one knows how it works. But we formed like Voltron. It just happened, right? And the RZA was the head. Anyway, Robert Whitley will know a thing or two about the Bildungsroman. Und wir sprechen Sie Deutsch, Dr. Reddy? Wir können auch Deutsch sprechen, wenn Sie wollen. Über das Bildungsroman, but the coming of age for a black woman during the golden era of hip hop. Now, are we talking about the East Coast Renaissance? Or are we talking about like the golden era, like KRS-One or something? Hey, 2T. 2T, what's up? But I'll give you a follow, Mia Che Reddy. Okay, so I know I keep saying Chase, and obviously it's Che. But when I see that, I know a person named Marina Chase Carricker, and so I always think that like that's, and she's also a very smart person. And so whenever I see that Marina, like Mia, I just think Marina Chase. So let me give you a follow there, Mia. Oh, I am following you. Oh, you're on Instagram. I'll follow you back, or I'll check you out over there too. I'm also on Instagram. I'm not very, I don't know. I try on Instagram. I try. Yo trato. Yeah. Well, we've been on for about an hour 15 total. So I'm probably going to wind down my chat a little bit. But Substack, it was subdued and yet kind of nice. You know, it was nice to meet you, Mia. PM, it was great to have a talk. I love that everybody showed up and showed out. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Hi from Brazil, Ricardo Alexandra Idiomas. Thanks. Well, you know, everybody take care. And on the Substack side, see ya. Thank you.